This is Andrew Riber. We're back with Richard Burdick talking about his life. And this is session 6. And Richard, you told me before that you've had several mentors throughout your life. Would you like to tell a little bit about them?
Actually, the first one was Eddie Milas from Chicago. I had met him at some of the Michigan State shows, and he always had nicer coins than anybody else. And I bought a number of those proof Dark Barber dimes from him. And I kept telling him, Eddie, I need a nice proof large cent. He said, well, I'll get you and I'll come up with one. So at about, I'd say this was 1969. He shows me this 1857 proof large cent. And I'd only seen a couple before, but they were clean coins. They had that pink look to them. I knew you don't buy that sort of thing. This one had a fairly nice surface, no spots, and a reasonably nice color. The one problem was, I thought I should pay $350 to $400 for it. That's a lot of money to me. And I had actually saved up for several years my money. And when I went to that ANA in 1969, I had $8,800, which was a lot of money at that time. But like I say, I'd sold a lot of the proof sets and the silver dollars. And anyway, I was really into really nice proof coins. So Eddie, during the show, he says, come over to my table. And he's got this proof large cent. Problem was he wanted $750 for it. Well, that's just a stupid price for one of these things. And he says, you better buy that. It's going to take you a while to find one nicer than that. So I paid him, got the coin. And I was so proud. I had a custom-made capital plastic holder made for it. Then that was at the A&A in 69. So it came around to the Michigan State show. It was in Detroit, downtown at the Sheraton, I think it was Sheraton Cadillac Hotel. And I'm walking around in there, and I've shown this proof large cent to a couple people, and I said, oh yeah, that's really nice. And I came up to the table. It was Ed Cito's table. I don't know if you ever knew.
No, I never heard it. Where's he from?
Detroit.
Okay.
And there was a little old man sitting behind his table, was kind of his assistant. And I got out my proof large cent. And he looked at it for 2 or 3 seconds, and he kind of threw it back. He says, get rid of that. It's a piece of rubbish. I said, what do you mean? I bought this from Eddie Milas. He charged me $750. He said, well, he says, you bought the wrong coin, son. That coin's been cleaned and artificially toned. And I was devastated. I paid several $100s extra for this coin. So several months later, in New York City, I showed this coin to Walter Breen.
Were you going to a lot of major shows at that
At
time?
this time, yes. Yeah, I was actually going to New York City a lot because my brother lived there and I had a free apartment to stay in. And so anyways, where was I at? Oh, at the, what show was it? Oh, yeah, the Michigan State show. I showed the coin to the guy and he told me it was rubbish. So by the time Central States came up, in March or April, I ran into Eddie Milas. I said, Eddie, I told him the story about, I told him who it was. Eddie knew this guy. And I said, Eddie, I want my money back. And he says, let's do it this way. He says, I'll just give you a credit for the $750 and you can pick some coins out of my inventory, which I did. I found a 1873 Arrows $50. Now that's a tough coin to find. To this day, it's a hard coin to find, and really nice, original, beautiful tone coin. It's a very scarce coin. So I bought that from him, again at a very high price, $450. And I found a couple other coins, seeded quarters, proof, whatever. By the end of the show, I think I got 3 coins out of the $750 where I'd returned. So when back to this man that told me, his name was Andy. He was a Polish Jewish immigrant from Warsaw, Poland. And I noticed that I say he was the assistant for Ed Cito, and he would have a tray that held about a dozen coins. And these coins were like better than everybody else's coins. And I bought from him an 1879 dime. And this coin was magnificent with this like screwball luster. Your eye would look at this and it was beautifully toned. But he wanted, the red book said, I think, $275. He says, my best price is $315. I bought it. It was too much, but I bought it. I'd never seen one, not a mint state coin that nice. And I got to know this guy.
Sorry,
He
just a
became, Andy had some nice coins. And so he actually had a part-time job at a coin shop where he worked Tuesday afternoons and Saturdays. It's in a mall in, oh my gosh, one of the suburbs of Detroit, Livonia, I think. So I started driving over there, usually on a Tuesday or a Saturday, because that was the only days he was there. And this guy kept me broke because I couldn't resist his coins. They were just better than everybody else's. And then several years later, he gave me a few coins. He said, what can you get me for these coins? And some of them were pretty nice, and some of them were just, average.
Oh, what year was that?
In the early 70s. And this went on. I mean, he quit collecting. He started collecting U.S. coins in 1926. And he quit collecting in 1959 because he thought they got too expensive. And he was a chemical engineer for Ford Motor Company. There's a whole long history of him, but I won't get into all that. But this man started really teaching me a lot about coins in the early 70s. Another man was John Pittman. I got to have a very close relationship with him. So, and Eddie Miles. Between these three guys, they started teaching me a lot about coins. So this went on in 1979. The market had warmed up considerably. Now this is early on. It was Central States and St. Louis. We were waiting for the doors to open for the show, and here comes Andy walking up the steps. He got there maybe 5 minutes before the doors were going to open. He had a little paper sack with him, and I said, Andy, is that your lunch, or did you bring me some coins? He says, well, I brought some coins. He said, maybe you can sell them for me. So we went off to the side. When the doors open, we didn't go right in, and this man, he had a complete set of mat-proof buffalo nickels with a 13 type 1, 2, 14, 15, and the 16 was outrageously beautiful. I had never seen buffalo nickels this nice. And he says, he told me a price that he wanted. Maybe $4,000 for all of them. He only wanted to sell all of them. And I said, Andy, I don't think that's going to be a problem. So I took him in that show, and what was the guy's name? Eddie Hips. Mm-hmm. Very famous over there. He specialized in nickels.
Right.
He saw that set of coins, and he said, how much is this? And I said, Andy, I said, Eddie, I don't really know what to ask for these coins, but I never seen a set like this. He said, what do you want for it? He said, how about $10,000? And he just went ballistic on me. You can't ask that much. These are nice coins, but you can't ask that much for them. He says, I'll give you $8,000, and paid me on the spot. So about half an hour later, I run into Andy, and he said, you sell my coins? And I said, yes. He said, what'd you get for them? I said, I got $8,000 for him. I could have bought them from him for $4,000.
Right.
So the agreement was I got 10%. But he says, you know, you got me so much money for those coins. Let's just split the difference. Give me 6,000, you keep 2,000. This is a good deal for both of us.
Right.
Very good deal for both of us. And that really sealed the deal. Andy, he'd been selling a lot of his coins to this Ed Cito, and he wasn't paying him nearly enough for them. But there was a show that was going to be in Battle Creek, Michigan, at the Holiday Inn. And Andy said, I'm going to be there. So again, he's the assistant for Ed Cito. So he brings me one of the most beautiful 77 Indian pennies, proof cameo. Today this coin would grade 67 cameo. It was that nice.
Wow.
And he said, that's pretty rare coin, that nice. And he says, what can you get me for this? And I said, well, I'm not sure. That's pretty nice. He said, I want $4,000 for this coin. And I said, well, this is just a magnificent coin. And so he gave it to me. And I had it for several months. And I sold it for $4,400. He got his $4,000. I got 10%. Fine. So now we're up to like February of 1980. The coin market had just gone ballistic, price-wise. So I met Andy at a show. It might have been, it actually might have been the Central State Show. No, I think it was the spring Michigan State Show. And Andy gets out this in the old national coin pages, a complete set of Unk Indian head pennies. And these coins were nice. He spent like 30 years building this thing, getting one coin here. In fact, he would take the train from Detroit and go to New York City, and he'd go to Stack's, and they'd have rolls of Unk Indian pennies. And he'd tell him he's putting a really nice set together. They let him pick through the rolls and pick the coin he wanted. But they charged him a little extra because he took a lot of their time. But that's how he built that set of coins. And like I say, the prices of coins have just skyrocketed in value. And I said, Andy, what do you want for this? He said, I want $65,000. We're getting in the big leagues now. And I sat down and I figured it out. And I said, Andy, I'm never going to be able to sell this. He said, that's what I want, is $65,000. Well, I had these good friends that owned a coin shop in Kalamazoo, Michigan, Jay's Coins Stamps. And they'd made a lot of money in the bullion market. And his wife really liked coins. And I'd actually sold her, I sold her my set of proof Barber dimes, the whole set. She paid me, I think, $11,500. And I only had, I think, under $2,000 in it.
I just wish you had that back now.
Well, I got a great story with that one. So, see, where was I?
$65,000 for a set of Indian pennies?
There's no way I'm going to be able to send. So anyway, Jack and Marie Russell, they really liked the set. Yeah, this was a spring Michigan State show. And Jack asked his wife, he says, you really want that set of coins? And she said, I do really want it. So they said, we'll give you $50,000 for that set of coins. And Andy's at the show. I went over. He said, "No, I'm not taking that offer. I want $65,000." Well, as time went on, the coin market pretty much crashed, and I had given him the set back. So about 1983, he gave me back the set of coins. I mean, he didn't have that much money in it, but he realized he'd made a mistake, and he said, "Look, what will you give me for this set of coins?" And I didn't really figure it out, but I said, Andy, I love this set of coins. I'll give you $26,500. He says, you can take your time to pay me. Take a couple years if you need to, but I bought the set of coins from him. So there again, I saved that coin, that set, until I actually sent it in to the PCGS about 1988. And I got just average grades, Well, one of the greatest coins in there was the 72, which is a pretty darn scarce coin in gem condition. There's a lot of red-brown coins in this set, no spots, and that was about the best date in there. Was the 9S was a monster. That lime green crystal toning.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it was a beauty. 8S is pretty nice too, but the 9S just boomed out at you. And the 72 was a very, very nice piece. So anyways, I got that set slabbed up at PCGS, and I took it to the 1989 A&A. And I didn't have a table. I seldom ever took tables. I just walk around. And before the show, I showed that set of Indian pennies to Jerry Bobby, who was actually a close friend of mine at the time. He had a table. He knew a lot about copper, and he knew these were nice coins, and the market was hot. I wanted to sell them. So he put them out in his case, and I'd asked $40,000 for that set of coins. And he actually got an offer of $38,500. And I said, well, he says, look, I'll do it for 5%. And I said, okay, do it. And he sold that whole set of coins to a farmer from Iowa. And I've never seen that set of coins. I don't know what happened to it, but it was a good deal. So where'd we go from there?
Let's take a break. Okay.
Good idea.